CCNS rocks. Okay, this interview is about Windows 7 and the CCNS beta testers. How many of your employees, your people were working with the beta test?
The Windows 7 beta test? I've been using it as my desktop since November, so I'm getting close to almost a year now.
November?
Yeah, last November, when
Wow.
some of the first alphas and betas were out. CCNS since May has used it exclusively on all of our desktops. Every employee has used Windows 7 completely.
What did you notice right away?
A couple things. One is it's faster. In fact, it's faster even on older equipment. So this is a newer operating system that's supposed to have better things going for it, that actually is faster than its predecessor, Vista. A lot of people that went to Vista thought it was all right and worked okay, but it was noticeably slower. So now you don't have to have as much of a souped up machine in order to get the performance that you want.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
So it'll work on those notebooks and everything.
Well, yeah, one of the things is they developed the Windows 7 so it'll work on the small Atom processor on the mini notebooks that are becoming popular, the $300-$400 computers. Those are, compared to regular desktops and laptops, kind of underpowered. So they had to make it so it could work and perform well on those. So when you get a full desktop in place, it's even better.
Wow. How many of your clients run Vista versus XP?
We have about, on our workstations, about a 50% split. We have some that have been unable to go to Vista because of program compatibility, and or they just didn't care for it. And then we had plenty that adopted it, and it's worked reasonably well for them, despite a few compatibilities and performance issues.
Okay. And you can't go from XP to Windows 7 straight.
That's true. The upgrade path is Vista to Windows 7. If you've got XP machines, which a lot of people do, you can't do a direct upgrade. You have to either upgrade it to Vista first and then to Windows 7, which is a bit of work, or, as is typically a good recommendation to do anyway, simply do a clean install and reinstall your important apps, restore your data. It's probably more sturdy and stable to do so. However, if you do want to continue with your applications and make sure that they work and not reinstall them, an upgrade to Vista and then to Windows 7 does work.
Now there's the XP mode though, right?
Right. Well, that's another great feature. They only released that recently. So when we started off with the beta, we didn't really have this. And of course, the beta out of the gates had great compatibility. Probably even in the beta stage was better than Vista on program compatibility. But since they've released a virtual PC that you can run inside of Windows 7 of Windows XP, thereby eliminating all compatibility issues, because you can continue to run a program window of Windows XP running whatever programs you need to run inside of XP, thereby making that available on Windows 7 boxes, and there's no extra charge for that. Really, the only downside to it is you have to have a computer system running Windows 7 that has a VT or virtualization compatible chip. That virtualization chip is only on the newest of new machines. So it can be, iffy if you have a machine that will support it. But if you do have a new machine that's relatively new, last 3 months, something like that, could be older, but mostly last 3 months, you should be able to run Windows XP mode with no extra cost or charge, and it's pretty great.
Are those machines, those processors pricey?
No, they're very middle of the road right now. They were when they first came out, but right now they're becoming very common. So it doesn't add a lot to the cost. A reasonably average priced machine that's new today should have that VT compatibility. But you might want to make sure you check if that's one of the features you want to make sure you have available, is that it is VT compatible.
So it sounds like people that were waiting, no reason to wait anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you've got XP on the Windows 7 if you have to have XP. The other thing is Windows 7 has changed the interface again, and although it takes a little getting used to, I will say this time it's more of a jump in the right direction. There's some great new features of the Aero desktop that make it a lot easier to do things. That's really kind of what people would have hoped the big changes of Vista would have done. And so for the first time, it's really a lot easier to make that change. And once you get used to it, you really start to groove and like it.
Well, speaking of that, let's check it out.
So one of the things we're using here is dual monitors, which allows you to move a program between monitors, allowing you to have more things open at once, which is great. This is not new with Windows 7, but it does set up and work very easily in Windows 7. And when you have all these windows open, sometimes you want to just look at just one of them. So one of the new features of Windows 7 is Arrow Shake, where you can take a program and you can shake it, and the other ones just all minimize at the same time, leaving the program you shook open. And if you want, you can shake that same program again, and they all come right back where they were, which is a really quick, easy way of getting around and doing those things. Another thing that's great is called the Arrow Sneak, where you can come down here and highlight your icons that are pinned now to the bottom. And as you do that, different ones you have open will show up on the screen, and you could click it and it'll take you straight to that one, highlighted wherever it may be. Another great thing is the Arrow, that was the Arrow Preview. This is the list. If you right click on any of these items down here, it'll give you your most recently opened items. So let's take my Word for instance. I do that, and my most recent documents I've opened show up right there. Easy and quick for me to open. And that feature alone is a big time saver for me to be able to quickly drop between my programs or most recently open websites, most recently open media files. They're all just right there. So it's just a very handy way of getting around and pulling things up quickly. Now the start menu itself is still very similar to the way it was in Vista. It's organized in more of a streamlined fashion than it was previously. Opening programs is pretty straightforward. They just fall underneath here. And so that's the Arrow Shake, the Arrow Preview, the Arrow Sneak features that allow you to operate.
That's awesome. Okay, and there was the backup feature.
Yeah, one of the great things about the Windows 7 backup is in Windows Vista, it introduced a new image-based backup, which was great for recovery. The problem is it would only back up to things that are on the local machine attached to it, like a USB hard drive. Windows 7 now has the backup available to run over the network. So here I am running it over the network to a network attached device, and it's doing my backup to one place in my entire network, which allows me to back up multiple machines to one thing, get it off my device. I don't have to have it plugged into my computer. It's full image-based backup over the network, which is a huge improvement for people that have multiple computers and need the ability to easily back up to one place.
That's awesome.
Another great feature is the Windows sidebar was introduced in Windows Vista, and in Windows 7 there are the same sidebar kind of things and a whole bunch of widgets you can load, but now they aren't forced to be on the side. You don't have to do anything, they're just automatically unbound. You can place them wherever you want. So, you know, we can have this great little weather app. I have these ones that have my shortcuts in it, my performance meter for my RAM and CPU here. And so I just place them wherever I want them, and they just stay right there.